What is going on, obscure people? I am very excited, very, very excited to have something new in the studio. So right now I'm talking on the Beyerdynamic M99, no processing whatsoever, but we've got in the booth, wrong guy, got in the studio, the PreSonus PD-70. Got it. PreSonus PD-70. Let me show you the video about this mic real quick. All right, folks, no doubt about it. I'm excited at this one, the PreSonus PD-70. Let's show you the spec sheet real quick. We've got a dynamic microphone, 20 hertz to 20 kilohertz, cardioid polar pattern, and the frequency response relatively flat until 2K, and then we start getting that presence boost in there. Really nice looking microphone right here. We've got the PreSonus PD-70, heavy, comes in at 1.13 pounds. Got a half a yoke mount, which I think is pretty nifty. They definitely went for a Shure SM7B look, but they definitely gave it a little bit of a new twist. No switches or anything like that. Bare bones microphone, nice shiny PreSonus logo, XLR port. And if you take off the provided windscreen that comes on the microphone, you got that SM7B-like grill. Actually looks identical. And the capsule mounted right in there. Looks like we've got like a rubber cone that might provide some shock absorption there. But overall, just a really nice microphone, you know, copycat or not. It does come with a 5/8 to 3/8 adapter. I've taken that out of there as I use this on the Back Row Fantasy Show podcast tonight. But yeah, there it is, the PD-70. Really nice, weighty, solid quality mic. Let's have a further listen. Okay, so we're back, and I'm still on the M99. This is what the M99 sounds like. It's my podcasting microphone of choice from Beyerdynamic. I also have the Zoom ZDM-1 here, which is a fair comparison, $120 roughly with a pair of headphones, $120 roughly, $129 maybe, $130. Difference is headphones, tripod stand, just a microphone. So M99, let's go ahead and move over to the PD-70 now, and then we'll compare it to the Zoom here in just a few minutes, but let's mic this shit up. All right, so now I'm talking on the PreSonus PD-70. This thing is very solid, weighs a ton, and as you saw in the video, it's got that SM7B-like grill with the capsule mounted in there. The foam windscreen slides right over. No plastic, though. But anyways, the PD-70, half a yoke mount. There's a lot to like visually about this microphone. There's a lot to like about the sound as well. Right off the rip, compared to the M99, the clarity is just a little bit better. The overall tone, I wouldn't say the overall tone is better. I'd have to really go through the gauntlet, but I am impressed so far with the PreSonus PD-70. So let's go ahead and do some testing on it. I've got it mounted because I used this on the Back Row Fantasy Show episode that is going to release today as well. So let's go ahead and turn the microphone 90 degrees so you can hear what it sounds like when it's not right in front of my mouth. And we're going to turn it to 180 degrees. We'll go ahead and straighten that out a little bit. So there's 180 degrees, 90 degree angle yet again. And we're going to turn it back around to the front of the microphone. Peter Piper picked a patch of pickled pineapple pizza. Peter Piper picked a patch of pickled pineapple pizza. Let's go ahead and take the windscreen off. Peter Piper picked a patch of pickled pineapple pizza. Peter Piper picked a patch of pickled pineapple pizza. Windscreen back on. I like how the windscreen's so flush with everything. It's a really nice looking microphone. When you get right on top of the PD-70 from PreSonus, this is what it sounds like. And that seriously was almost like an electro voice level of reduced proximity effect. You can get right up on it and you don't get a whole lot more. You don't get more bass. You don't get much of anything except for a little tiny bit more low end and a little bit more volume getting up on it like that. So So far, I am quite impressed. Let's go ahead and move the microphone a little farther away. I'm about 3 inches on it. Now I'm about 7 to 8 inches off of the microphone. Now I'm well over a foot away from the microphone. And now I'm probably a solid 2 feet away from the microphone. Bring it on back to me. So there we go. PreSonus PD-70. Man, that's a contender at $130. Well worth it, especially compared to the likes of the Pod mic. Maybe the Zoom. I don't know yet. We're going to wire up the Zoom real quick and find out. Let's do that now. Let's go ahead and wire up the Zoom. So PreSonus PD-70 versus the Zoom ZDM-1. Here we go. So we're talking on the PD-70 from PreSonus. I'm going to go ahead and switch over to the Zoom. And now we're talking on the Zoom microphone, the ZDM-1. Talking into the Zoom ZDM-1. Let's go ahead and go back to the PreSonus PD-70. Now we're back on the PreSonus PD-70. And for podcasting right off the rip, I really like the Zoom. But the clarity of the PD-70, in my opinion, is just better. The top is, it's still nice and smooth, but it just has a better sound up top. Let's switch back to the Zoom one more time. All right, now we're back on the Zoom, and the Zoom definitely has, I believe, a little bit more mid-forward. Like, I like the Zoom just fine. I still think it's really good for the money, but when I switch back over to the PreSonus, this thing just sounds better. This just sounds better. No processing whatsoever. The PreSonus, you might be able to say that it's just a tad bit thin, but you can always beef it up a tad bit thin. And this has a really solid podcast and radio sound. Damn. And that's what it's intended for voice. So, hot diggity dog. That was lame. That was the lamest thing I've ever said in my life. Hot damn. I like the PD-70. I like the PD-70 more than the Zoom ZDM-1. And I really did enjoy this. I thought it was a pretty solid mic. And now it's not. Let's go ahead and throw it back at the M99 real quick, just so we can kind of get that direct comparison of the M99, which is a $500 microphone, compared to this $129 microphone. All right, so now I'm on the M99. M99 and the Zoom are both have a little tiny bit of a darker sound, and it does sound good. I still love the M99. I love this microphone a lot, and I keep bumping it. I'm sorry, but I'm going to switch back to the PreSonus, and now we're back on the PreSonus, and I just kind of like that extra clarity because it doesn't get harsh or brittle up top. It's just clearer. It is simply clearer. And I kind of like that because it still checks the boxes for me as far as like a good sounding podcast microphone. And it is for voice. So I don't know about laying down vocals for music or anything like that. I tend to like a little darker for that. But as far as a podcast and voiceover microphone, which voiceover I like a little darker too, but podcast, broadcast, I think they nailed it. I think they knocked this out of the park. Let's throw processing on all three of them, just so we have that at our disposal. So this is the PD-70 without processing. I'm going to turn some processing on now. So now we have compression, de-esser, and high-pass filter. Let's go ahead and turn on the big bottom. Now we've got the big bottom to get that little bit of extra bass on there, and that right there might be it for me. That, to me, that sounds really good. Let me know if you agree. I think this microphone right now with compression and a bit more low end on it, I think it sounds really damn good. I'm really impressed with this microphone right now. Absolutely impressed with it. So we'll go back to the M90, and we're actually going to turn the processing on there as well. So I'm going off the PD-70 and into the M99 from Beyerdynamic. And that makes it tough because I think the M99 with compression, de-esser, and a big bottom on it sounds really freaking good. So I don't know I just don't know. Like, I think I still prefer the M99, but man, for $130, this PreSonus PD-70 is really bringing it. Really bringing it. Let's switch over one more time. All right, now we're back on the PD-70, just clear as can be, and that bottom end is still there. I'm so impressed with this thing for $130. I might like it more than the M99 for the price. Like, if this was $129 or even $200 for that matter, I think I'd still go with the M99 because I love this thing. But damn, this sounds great. I might listen back to the video and I might change my mind completely. So that's one thing to consider. I'll throw the zoom on with processing and then we'll be done with this one. So let's go to the zoom. All right, so now I've got the zoom on with the same processing, compressor, de-esser, big bottom. And I still think this mic is good for the price, but I do think it has been outshined by a fair margin with the M99 and with the PD-70. I just don't think it is quite on the same level as the PD-70, but I'm going to switch over to it now. All right, so now I'm on the PD-70. And yeah, I think I've confirmed my thoughts. This over the Zoom by a mile. This might be the best $130 mic I've used on the channel as a dynamic end-address broadcast microphone. So that leaves me with some decisions. We've got the Beyerdynamic M99 and the PD-70, and that's super expensive, and this is not, and I could surround my table with 3 of these for a hell of a lot less than 3 of those. PreSonus, big ass green light going to you. I actually really like this microphone. Hopefully you do too. Let me know in the comments down below, but I think we've got a keeper at $129. I think it's a keeper indeed. Thanks for watching. Obscure Mics. PreSonus is out. Bark is out. Peace out.